Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. For those who've been hanging with me some time, and welcome to those who are new. My name's Adele Levine and I'm an intuitive and medium. Alright, so I did a poll asking you guys what you would like me to cover on this video, and I actually asked you a bunch of different subjects, and I kind of decided to mix them a little bit together. And here's why. There's a lot going on in the world, and I'm not one to shy away from talking about it at all, or shy away from asking you and recognizing your needs and what you want from me to help you through this time. However, I may sprinkle in some things, of course, that I want to say that has come to me. So this video is on what does the collective consciousness have to say at this time. However, I am going to sprinkle in a little bit of Archangel Michael and what that has to do with, and the millennial generation, which is very important to me. And if anybody has been following me at all over the years or have seen what I've talked about, I've always been an advocate for the younger generation. And also, this is a call out to the older generation and their role in this time. Okay, so what is the collective conscious saying at this time? What is the collective consciousness? First of all, what does it mean? That's what I would like to start with, because it will help you understand what we need to be doing here on this plane, on this earth. It is the idea, and I will repeat it again. What happens to one happens to all. What pain you're going through, I'm going through. What joy you're going through, I'm going through. What frustrations and sadness and despairs I'm going through, you're going through. What excitement and accomplishments and even, yes, success, what you're going through, I'm going through. It is the idea of what is happening in your spirit is affecting my spirit. That is how the spirit world works. So it really frustrates me when, and really upsets me when I hear people talking about the spirit world in this separate form, meaning people who are good go here, people are bad go here, people have 10 guides, 5 angels. And what does this have to do with what's happening today? Well, if it's difficult to see that people talk about that realm in that way, it is, I don't know how many times, 10 times more difficult to see that's what we're doing here. Now, the collective consciousness has for some time pushed this idea of change, of shifting over many years. And over many years, we've had little things that have come up and big things that have come up that has made us look at ourselves and decide, are we going to change? Are we going to shift? Are we going to evolve? Are we going to grow? Are we going to finally see that the king of the hill is not okay? Are we going to finally see that racism is not okay? Are we going to finally see that sexism is not okay? And it's not even about the titles, and because we can go on and on and on about injustice. It is about the idea that you only are learning when it happens to you. Collective consciousness is the idea that you don't have to wait for that. As soon as you're feeling something and you're going through something, I am, and therefore I already know what needs to be done. There is no good luck to you, I'm sorry this happened to you, oh I'm so sorry this is happening in your world. It is a feeling, and that is true compassion and empathy. So when people call themselves empaths, it is not just feeling for someone else, it is feeling it through their eyes. Period. How they saw it, how they experienced it, what they were feeling. And there has been a push from that realm for years and years and years, for sure. But in the past, I would say 10 years, and I'm sure you can hear other people who are doing this kind of work talk about the shift and talk about the awakening. There has been a push for people to truly, truly try, truly, truly work on awakening and seeing what's happening in our world, seeing the world behind the world. Because if you can see the world behind this world, and you see that there is a home and there's a place where we all come from, where we connect, where we all feel in this unison, then you may be able to see how we need to do this in this world. However, what are they saying right now? Okay, the awakening, the push to have the awakening, the push to bring you the awakening is over. It's go time. You decide. You choose. What are you going to do? Are you going to grow? Are you going to evolve or not? Yeah, that's what they're saying. Because for a long, long time, I know me and scores of others before me and many with me now have been doing the work of trying to get people to awaken, to have this empathy and compassion, to listen and see and feel what someone else is going through their eyes, through those person's eyes. There's a very big difference between that and saying, well, I understand because this happened to me and it's like this, or it's not as bad as what happened to me, or it's worse than what happened to me, or it's not as worse as what happened to me. When you're doing that, you're making it about you. And I think this is the hard thing for people to do, is to try and hear and see what others are going through from their viewpoint. So what I mean by that, the awakening of trying to wake you up is over, because that's been going on. Kind of imagine that there's a fire and you keep trying to tell someone about fire. Let's say there's a fire somewhere and you say, listen, over there's this fire, let me try to explain it to you. You don't know what fire is. You're not really understanding fire, but I'm going to explain what fire is. And you go and you explain it and you're trying to get them to understand what this fire is. When you burn, it feels like this. When you get near it, it's hot. And this person seems to believe they understand what it is. And instead of really listening to you, they're kind of like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Well, I don't really get it because it's not happening to me, but yeah. And kind of rushing through this explanation. And you take them to the fire and you say, listen, this is why I need you to understand. I need you to wake up. I need you to see what's going on. And you take them to the fire and they look at it and they still want to only understand if they put their hand in it. So you now say, well, I'm not involved in this anymore. This is on you, and you leave. That is the collective consciousness. Does it mean that collective consciousness has abandoned everyone? No. It means the collective consciousness has been trying to get you to hear and see and feel what happens to one happens to all. It is very simple. Now, in this time, through what we're going through with this illness and the pandemic and everything that's happening, it is a physical manifestation of, hey, if you act a certain behavior, it may hurt someone. If you do a certain way, it may hurt someone. It may be inconvenient, but you need to do it anyway. You need to do it because there's someone else this may help. There's a doctor working on you. There's a nurse working on you. There's other kinds of things going on that can affect all of these people, a domino effect. Now let's take what's happening with this young man who was murdered in front of everyone. It is a second fire of, look, I'm trying to explain to you this pain. I'm trying to explain to you what is taking place. I'm trying to explain to you the suffering and what is going on. As people, we need to experience and see and feel it come through our core, a compassion and empathy. You don't need to wait to say, oh, I know, I get it now because it's happened to me. That is what I mean by they're tired and done with the awakening, meaning getting you to understand and see it. It's clearly manifesting, has always been. This isn't new. It has always been manifesting all around us. Always. People have been suffering. People have been dying. People have been oppressed. People have been screaming out, "Hear me," all over the world. This has been going on for a very, very, very long time. And some people have chosen to feel that and awaken to that and do something about it and join in and say, okay, maybe I don't understand, but it doesn't matter. Meaning maybe it hasn't happened to me personally, but it doesn't matter because I am feeling your pain through your eyes, and I get it. And I want to do something. I want to rise up. I even want to grow, and I even want to learn. I want to evolve. Even admitting you just don't know everything. You just may not fully understand. Maybe you're not educated. Maybe you were brought up certain ways to not care about other people. All kinds of things. We are flawed. But when you choose to go down a path of evolvement, of action, and it could be any action, it could be words, it could be just a shoulder, putting your hand on someone's shoulder, it can be just letting someone know you feel them and see them, because we're so divided. Now, one of the things I've said many times on different videos is that the other realm is this collective consciousness, and this realm we operate everything about division. What kind of house you have, what kind of car you drive, what kind of clothes you wear, what race you are, what culture you are, what country you live in, what city you live in. Oh, by the way, what's your zip code? Oh, by the way, what's your phone number? What kind of cell phone do you have? What color is it? We are very obsessed with how separate we want to be. Now, does that mean we all just live and act like we're the same person? No. You are individually the core of who you are. Who you are. All the cultures, all the races, all the genders, all the way of thinking and belief systems, the way you cook food, the way you walk down the street, the way you like to relax at home, makes us all very, very different. We're like our thumbprints. We are uniquely different, beautifully, uniquely different, because we all have a service that we are going to provide on this earth that is equally important. So of course you are the core of who you are. People misconstrue being one means being just all the same. We're just the same. No. It means that being one means we are in movement of a flow, an ebb and a flow, going forward and backward. So when you ask and people want to know, what does the collective consciousness say? That's what they're saying. Okay, I know my role as a spiritual person. I'm not a YouTube political activist video provider. I leave things in their place, meaning I respect people who do what they do best. I'm speaking to you from someone who's experienced. I've shared with you that I grew up being adopted by my uncle and my aunt, and my uncle was African American, my aunt was Jewish. My aunt was my mother's sister, and my mother died when I was 10 days old. I know from experience, but I also know from compassion and empathy as a spiritual person. I also know that people are frustrated, not just about one thing, but many things. People are watching their family members go out into the world and having to work during this time, risking their health. People are losing their jobs. People are feeling this, and I'm saying it like it is. That is what's happening. We don't have to sugarcoat what's happening. It's real, it's happening, and people are reaching to this point. So we can shift this world, and we are going to shift this world, which brings me to the millennials. The millennial generation has been shat on for a long time, and if you aren't aware, every generation this happens. But I will say to you that it's different about this time, and this generation is aware, and they have so much that's coming at them, so much coming at them. Yes, they have iPhones. Yes, they have cell phones. Yes, you may look at the older generation and say, well, they have more than me and they're being spoiled, but they are also not able to escape all of the pains in the world. They see and feel and hear everything because it's in their fingertips, it's in their hand, and they still want to do something. Everybody who's young goes through things where you may misbehave, or you may, like, skip a class, or you may feel self-entitled. That's what I'm saying. When you're young, you kind of push the boundary. I hear people say they are annoying in this. I mean, everybody is when they're teenagers, okay? And even when you're in your 20s, you just think you know everything and you realize you don't later. Okay, that's normal. But the younger generation is here to push us to be better, to grow, to evolve. And I have said this for a very long time, and it is happening now. So to you millennials watching this, it is your time to lead us into the future. By the way, you've already been doing it. You have ways you can post things. You have ways you can speak your mind. You have ways that you can be heard. And the new world is going to shift. I'm telling you, that is what I've been hearing. The other thing I've been hearing is that the older generations have to help them. They have to understand emotionally, this is a lot. If it's a lot for you, it's a lot for them. Do you think you could handle everything that's happening right now at 18 so, easily, or 20 or 25? When I was 25, I don't know about you, but you're just like going out with friends and figuring stuff out. This is all happening, and we're in a collective whole in a way we've never been because of technology. Lastly, Archangel Michael, which people asked about. Archangel Michael is part of the warrior of the collective consciousness. Are we at a warfare? Yes, it's a spiritual warfare. It is not the traditional spiritual warfare. It is more about oppression being released, and those who do not want oppression being released. And I mean on all levels, this has to end. The king of the hill, the whole how much more money can I get out of people, putting people out to work for you and only for you, all this is coming to an end. And when you think of an Archangel Michael energy, it is a warrior energy. It is a protector of this world and the next. That is the energy of that being. And if you are feeling low, if you are feeling overwrought, if you're feeling like your strength and you just don't know how much you can take, this is an energy you can call upon and put protection on, and send out to all the people who are out in the streets, and send out to all the people you care about. Imagine and visualize their sword standing on their back, protecting and putting this light around them. Send this type of energy to the world, not the fear and the hate and the anger. Even though that comes over you, I understand. You can work through those. That's your human emotion. You get upset, you get worried, you feel overwhelmed, work it through. But we have to also send another kind of energy to counter it. It's about both the human side and your spiritual side. We can't spiritualize ourselves through this, but we can't just only live in our human side, the balance. So the collective consciousness is saying this. We are in a phase 2. Phase 1, things happen, everyone comes together, kumbaya. Phase 2, people start to turn on each other and start to war against each other, which we're kind of phasing a little bit out. And we're going to move into, I feel, around mid-June, from what I'm hearing, and I'm saying it here, and I've said it in a lot of readings, where things are going to be seen, where people who are trying to run and escape from this and not see and not hear and do this and not want to be a part of it are going to have to see, because this is what's going to happen. Those of you who are awake and accept what's happening are rising up and choosing to evolve, and those of you who are refusing to and only want to learn and only care if it happens to you, well, you're going to learn in a very difficult way, in a much more painful way that you may not have to. So it is your time to choose. I hope this helped. I know this was a little serious, but honestly, how can I come on here and just laugh and joke about things in a light kind of way? I waited to do this video because I wanted to really let it come to me and I wanted it to be a full message, and I hope that helps. I will end it with this. We are going to come into a new world, and a new world that's going to be in a more evolved and a world where we can see how we don't have to live in this way where we oppress and push each other away. In this new world, it will be a world where we can live, where we can thrive, not just survive, not just exist. We will come through this together. However, I don't like to say, hey, if we come together, we'll get through this together, because I know you've heard that. It is your choice how we're going to actually rise up and create this new world. It really is up to you. In the end, we will create this new world. So don't look at this as a doom and gloom. This is a birth. This is a rebirthing process. This is something that is painful and difficult, but as we go through this rebirthing, something beautiful will be born. Thank you so much. I hope this helped. You can follow me here. You guys know where to follow me. I don't really want to end it with all that stuff. All my information is on my Instagram. I post on there. And take care of yourself. Listen to yourself. Follow this inner tuition. Follow your inner voice. Follow no one. And I'll see you soon.